Right now at 5, finances for new College of Business at Pitt State finds a path forward at last night's City Commission meeting.
We've got a pretty decent start to the day out there. A handful of clouds, those will clear out, and maybe even some patchy fog. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, federal grant money may provide some answers for the question of homelessness in southeast Kansas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday, halfway through the work week here, and temperatures on their way up.
They certainly are. It's getting
toasty. I mean, I know it seems like it's been hot, but as Bachman Turner Overdrive would say, you ain't seen nothing yet, because it's about to get a lot hotter across the area. Let's start with a quick look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Got a light breeze out there. Got a few clouds, but those will soon be gone, and we will have sunny skies. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, looking back to the south, looking good. However, we do have some patchy fog in some locations across the area. So Grove, Anderson, Bentonville, we're reporting some more significantly reduced visibilities than other locations out there. So if you are traveling, do keep that in mind. And even if there's not a reduced visibility reported in one of the reporting stations, I ran into some patchy fog on the way from Joplin to here. So just be aware of that this morning. Our future track, there is nothing on it other than hot temperatures as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hours across the area. And our temperatures this morning, this is the last semi-cool day we'll have. These temperatures about normal, low to mid 60s as we're starting this day. And then after this, they're going to be mild even into the overnight hours out there. For today, sunny skies. That is one of those things. I know we don't like the heat, but in terms of putting all this fancy stuff here together, it's super easy because, as I've mentioned before, these icons are alphabetical order. Clear day is the very first one. It's just clicking several times the same thing. Highs today, though, mid-upper 80s, getting pretty close to 90, and it is going to continue to heat up as we head into the end of this week and the weekend. We also have some thunderstorm chances. We kind of talked about something we were watching Thursday. I got a little more information on those rain chances Thursday night. We'll break down the details in your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, just before midnight, neighbors called 911 saying flames were visible from a house on Douglas Circle in Carthage. Everyone was out of the house safely as firefighters arrived. They reported flames coming from the roof. The blaze was under control within the first 20 minutes, but the house suffered extensive damage, displacing the residents. Carthage Fire Chief Ryan Huntley tells us preliminary investigation reveals an electric issue as the source. And if you're ever on the go and want to still be able to watch our newscast live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on the App Store of your choice. Just search for KOAM Plus. The city of Pittsburgh agrees to terms with Pitt State for millions in funding for a new College of Business. The Gorilla Rising project aims to develop the new college as well as on-site parking at 3rd and Broadway. It would also see the redevelopment of the Bessa Hotel on 4th Street. The city yesterday approved the funding agreement for $10,050,000. They say it will provide a much needed upgrade.
It's an opportunity to, one, get a new facility for the College of Business that's sorely needed for our business students, but also by moving it downtown, we can create a tighter linkage with the business community in Pittsburgh and the surrounding region and with the city. It's a great experience for our students and a great opportunity to enhance the business community in Pittsburgh.
The city last night also approved $32,000 in funding for the Kelsey College of Business Economic Research proposal. The city of Pittsburgh is requesting more than $300,000 in federal funding to help address homelessness. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Every year for more than a decade, the city of Pittsburgh has applied for the Emergency Solutions Grant through the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation. The city requests a certain amount of funding. This year, they're applying for more than $300,000 to aid the city's homeless community.
We also helped with homeless prevention funds, which helps individuals stay housed. with either back rent or utilities assistance, and there was some funding for day shelter operations.
Last year, they applied for $450,000 but were granted just under $100,000. If they do not receive the amount they're requesting, city officials are prepared to be strategic.
We have to be more mindful of how much we are helping individuals. We just need to make sure that we are truly helping the individuals that need the assistance.
One Pittsburgh resident is skeptical about how the city will spend the funds. He voices his thoughts on his 5,000-member Facebook group called Citizens for Pittsburgh.
If this is the way to solve the problem, more money, more people working, why is the problem continually getting worse?
Lomshek and others believe the funds should be spent on people from Crawford County. The city of Pittsburgh assists anyone who meets their homelessness criteria.
The other concern that we've had from the beginning is that a large number of these people are not from Crawford County or Pittsburgh. They are coming here because they have heard there are free services.
Well, they have to go through some homeless certifications, but as long as they are in our community, they are considered a resident and will be assisted.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
If approved, city officials say they should receive the funds by August. Mercy Joplin's chapter of Women with a Mission hosted a donation ceremony yesterday. The chapter has raised more than $100,000 for such projects as ultrasound surgical equipment and cardiac services equipment for various departments. Women with a Mission Giving Society combines resources, vision, and passion for helping others to support and improve healthcare in its communities. KOAM and Fox 14 are starting a summer food drive as part of our Feed the Four States campaign. Local food pantries have struggled since COVID, so any size donation makes a world of difference. As part of our summer food drive, we ask that you bring donations to your local food pantry, either in the form of cash or non-perishable food items. You can find a list of food pantries in the area on our website, koamnewsnow.com/feed. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we'll hear the story of the Missouri Southern golfer who took his team to the next level. Plus, Chile's Humboldt penguins are facing a possible extinction due to marine pollution. And we have another warm and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Missouri Southern men's golf reached new heights this season. One player in particular helped lead MSSU to uncharted territory at the end of the spring. KOAM Sports Director John Dales has the story on the Lion who led the pack.
I just gained confidence over the last month, playing with my teammates competitive in practice, because I feel like it's all about competition and being able to perform when it matters.
Performing when it matters has become commonplace for Missouri Southern golfer Luis Limon. The Lion sophomore won the 2024 MIAA Individual Championship, was named MIAA Golfer of the Year, as well as an all-region athlete from the Golf Coaches Association, and a lot more. But all of these accolades were nearly prevented from happening about a decade ago.
My dad got me into golf when I was very young. But then, funny story, I didn't like golf from when I was 9 to 13. I was a big soccer player. But then when I turned 14, I started loving the golf again. And since then, I've been on the grind.
The grind has taken him from Guadalajara, Mexico to Joplin, Missouri. And the change in setting meant Limon also needed to change his game.
He had to adjust to some of the different circumstances here, the wind being one, and then also the grasses here are considerably different. But he's also worked very diligently. But I think what he said about his confidence level is strong. He's got a very proper attitude for golf.
In less than 2 years, Limon became the top golfer on the top men's golf team in the MIAA.
At the MIAA Conference Championship, the entire team played extremely well. the last day, and particularly the last 9 holes, and he was the anchor to that. And had a 2-shot lead playing the 18th hole, and I was standing behind him as he was preparing to drive, and I was thinking, there's no one else I would rather have hitting his shot. He's that good when he's dialed in.
Limone's season was far from finished when he won the MIAA championship. At the end of a 3-day super regional tournament, he won a 1-hole playoff, which made Limone the first Missouri Southern Lion ever to earn a spot in the Division II National Championship.
I mean, it's pretty cool being the first Missouri Southern golfer to be there. I feel like it's going to be a good experience for me and my coach.
It's kind of an exclamation point on my career because I've not been to nationals, so I get to go as well. I get to tag along.
Limone finished tied for 70th place at the National Championship in Winter Garden, Florida. It's the first time his parents were able to see him play in person since he moved to the United States. We have more details on this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/sports. Well, still to come, the Biden administration is proposing a plan to reduce the impact of medical debt. Plus, another check of that forecast and just how hot it's going to get, and some rain chances on the way when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:16 now on this Wednesday morning. We're taking a look at the fog tracker. We don't have any dense fog advisories, but as you can see, we do have some patchy fog out there. And as I mentioned earlier this morning, even if the reporting station isn't showing reduced visibilities, you're going to run into those areas in the some of these rural areas where you might run into some patchy dense fog as well. So do be cautious if you're heading out this morning. Now, when it comes to the future track, I want to start us on Thursday because today is, I could waste 5 minutes on it. It's clear skies today, very warm. Thursday, most of the day is sunny and even warmer. Look at this, low, maybe even close to mid-90s for some of us. However, as we mentioned yesterday, we're watching the possibility of some thunderstorms, initially looking to maybe stay to our north. But late Thursday night, some of those showers and thunderstorms might make it in to some of our northern counties and especially onto the Missouri side. So here we are Friday at 1 a.m. and then these will push through pretty quickly. You see they're gone before we even get to the start of the KOAM Morning News on Friday. Then throughout the day Friday, we're going to be partly to mostly cloudy and we're going to have opportunities. You see those little green dots. You know what that means. If you're not from the area, you're new to the area, we're entering pop-up storm season as well, where we get those little thunderstorms that fire up from the heating of the day out there. And that could be a possibility as we head throughout the day Friday as well. So with that said, some of those storms could be strong to low-grade severe. So obviously today, with plentiful sunshine, nothing to worry about. But tomorrow, in our northern counties, we have a low risk for some strong to low-grade severe storms. And that same risk continues into Friday, just over a broader area with some of those pop-up showers and storms that we could see through the day. So just something to keep in mind. But our best chance for organized, meaningful rainfall and thunderstorm activity is going to be Thursday night into very early Friday morning. Again, today the sunshine is plentiful, so our UV index back up there at a 10. So it's very high. Burn time is 10 minutes for unprotected skin. So as we've been mentioning, and we'll continue to do so, if you have to be outdoors today, make sure you're taking appropriate precautions. Quick look outside. Our camera at 7th and Range Line looking all right so far. 61. The wind is calm. Temperatures about normal, but this is not going to be the trend as we go through the next several days. We're in the low to mid 60s getting this Wednesday underway. We'll be sunny through the morning. 80, look at this though, 82 by 11 o'clock this morning. That's ahead of those highs into the mid to upper 80s across the area, and we'll have a light and variable breeze out there again, so not much relief. Clear skies through the evening and overnight, 78 at 10 o'clock tonight. Overnight lows, this is what I was talking about, upper 60s out there, and the overnight lows will continue to rise as well. So now we'll start to see overnight lows in the low to mid 70s, temperatures climbing, low mid 90s still expected as we head into the weekend, and then we could see a few evening showers by next Tuesday. But get ready for the heat because it is here to stay. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a golfer who's 77 years old survives a heart attack he had on the course. It happened in Raleigh, North Carolina. Grace Haybaugh reports.
It was just a quiet Sunday afternoon.
By all accounts,
May 19th was shaping up to be a normal day.
I don't remember any huffing and puffing or anything like that.
For Tom Rouse,
I walk when I play.
blue skies above Northridge Country Club meant one thing. But just moments after his group teed off on the 17th hole, things went dark.
They said there was no pulse and you were blue. You were gone.
The 77-year-old had a heart attack, suddenly collapsing on the fairway. In a stroke of fate,
I had my 5-year-old daughter with me.
Dr. Joe Baumgartner and his youngest had just pulled into the driveway of their home near the course when he heard his neighbor shouting for help.
I actually ran through this house.
The UNC Rex cardiologist racing over to help, taking over CPR.
He had died here in the middle of the fairway.
The group had already called 911, but Baumgartner explains it was a second call to the pro shop that made the difference.
They knew that there was an AED, and really, it was that decision that saved Tom's life.
That AED is one of 14 the club has across its property. The device buying Ralph's vital time while EMS took him to the hospital. Surgeons say he had a 99% blockage in his heart's largest artery.
You sometimes hear it called the Widowmaker. It's the kind of blockage that is fatal.
Overlooking the course for the first time since that day, Rouse says there aren't enough words to express his gratitude.
I've survived this, and I think there's a reason for it, and we'll find out what that is.
With his new wearable defibrillator, Rouse says he thinks he has a pretty good excuse for a mulligan and is looking forward to finishing his round soon.
The Biden administration is proposing a plan to reduce the impact medical debt has on consumers. About 46 million Americans listed medical debt on their credit reports in 2020. The president's plan would remove medical debt from the credit reports of about 15 million people. The administration believes that would help raise credit scores by about 20 points. The change could help banks and other lenders approve about 22,000 more mortgages a year. Besides the president's proposal, Vice President Kamala Harris called on states and other localities to take additional steps to eliminate medical debt. The FDA is warning of contaminated shellfish from Washington State and Oregon that could cause paralytic poisoning. They may contain paralytic shellfish toxins, which are made by algae. Those toxins cannot be removed through cooking or freezing. And the shellfish in question include oysters and bay clams harvested in late May in Tarts Bay and Tillamook Bay in Oregon. The advisory is also for all shellfish harvested late last month from Willapa Bay, Bruceport, and Bay Center in Washington. The FDA is telling people not to eat the products and to throw them out, and it's advising restaurants and retailers in a number of states not to serve them. This year alone, there have been at least 86 unintentional shootings by children, resulting in more than 30 deaths, according to the Everytown for Gun Safety organization. But many of these tragedies can be prevented, and for Firearms Safety Month, Mandy Gaither explains why it's so important to talk about guns before a play date and has tips on how to have this tough conversation.
It can happen in an instant. Little hands on a gun can have deadly consequences.
But because it's a leading cause of death in children, there are many things that parents are not aware of that they can do to prevent their child from being injured or killed by a firearm.
Emergency medicine Dr. Keisha Frazier-Doe with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says a key to prevention is properly storing a firearm. Remember 3 simple things. Keep guns unloaded, locked, and stored separately from ammunition.
There is a 70% reduction in injury if you have your gun stored locked up. So you can keep your family safe by just keeping it locked up.
Since unintentional shootings can happen anywhere, Frazier-Doe says every parent should ask about guns before allowing their child to go to another home.
Say, hey, how do you store your firearms? Or do you have an unsecured firearm in your home? Or do you keep your guns locked up in your home? and just have it in the flow of your conversation that you would normally have with families.
Other tips: come up with comfortable wording for you. Keep it in your notes on your phone and text the questions. Fraser Doe says you can also place blame either on the impulsiveness or curiosity of your child or on a pediatrician who suggests you ask these questions.
All of these are ways that you can ask without having to be nervous or concerned about the combativeness of it.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor also recommends lock boxes that can be opened with combinations or biometrics versus ones that open with keys, since keys can be found. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got ourselves another very warm day out there, plentiful sunshine. Well, another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, some Carthage grade schoolers dived into the world of sea turtles.
And we've got some patchy fog here and there, but it is going to clear out. It's going to be much warmer out there. There might even be some rain on the way. We'll talk about all that in the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, meet a husband and wife who have become longtime staples of the Fort Scott Farmers Market.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Wednesday. It is June the, the 12th now.
Oh, yes.
So remember, there's only 30 days in June. We are practically halfway through this month. Not quite, but just about.
Feel like, I know the temperatures are getting there. It's starting to feel like summer. It does feel like summer.
Oh yeah, it's been feeling like it for a minute.
But we're about halfway through the year on top of that.
Yeah,
and
we're halfway through the halfway mark of the year. It's just going right on by. Yeah. But that means since it's moving quickly, well, it's got to get hot some point.
Yep.
And that's what's happening now. Let's start with a look outside from MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. Looking back to the south, looking fairly good so far this morning. But as mentioned, we do have some patchy fog out there. Starting to look a little better, as a matter of fact. Some improved visibilities. Grove, Anderson, Bentonville, though, slightly more reduced visibilities, and then just to the east of Bentonville as well. But also remember, even if a major reporting station isn't showing reduced visibilities, just as I mentioned, on my drive from here to here, ran into some patchy fog out there, nothing significant. Future track is clear through the afternoon and into the evening hours. The only thing it has to show out there is those very warm temperatures. We're about average to start today, but this is it. It's going to start to be above average starts to the day after this. Low mid 60s, starting to get into the upper 60 zone out there. Highs today are going to again be warmer than yesterday, mid upper 80s, sunny skies, and a light southerly breeze that's really not going to do much in terms of helping with the heat. We do have an opportunity for maybe some thunderstorm activity as we head into tomorrow night. We'll break down the details on that and tell you just how hot it's going to get here in a few more minutes. Elise?
We'll see you soon, Chris. Well, the Missouri Department of Conservation wants to remind the public that frog season begins this month. Beginning June 30th at sunset through October 31st, those with a fishing permit or small game hunting permit may go frogging for bullfrogs and green frogs. The daily limit is 8 frogs of both species combined, and the possession limit is 16 frogs of both species combined. Even if you're not into frogging, the Department of Conservation encourages everyone to get out and enjoy nature this time of year. For more information on frogging, including recipes, you can hop on over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Some Carthage grade schoolers are diving into the world of sea turtles. In advance of World Sea Turtle Day, third graders at Sedley Elementary yesterday wrote about turtles and did turtle-related crafts. It's part of their 20 Days Around the World summer school journey designed to expand the students' horizons.
Well, we read an article about Mexico and its animals, and so it mentioned tons of animals. Mexico's very rich in different types of animals. But this one, sea turtles, just happened. They live in every ocean around the world except for the cold ones, so not at the North Pole, not at the South Pole. So really they're everywhere, and they're just interesting to learn about.
And here's a fun sea turtle fact. Unlike other turtles, sea turtles cannot retract their flippers and head into their shells. Well, the Bulldogs threw a block party last night, and Carl Junction kicked off summer fun with Second Tuesday on Main Street. The event featured food trucks, games, bounce houses, booths, and so much more. The next Second Tuesday will be on July 9th.
I was actually born and raised in Carl Junction. I've been here since kindergarten all the way to high school. So to me, it's all about community and being a part of the community and just being a part of Carl Junction because it's small, but it's got a lot to offer.
And as mentioned, the next one will be on July 9th. Well, Schermerhorn Park is not only home to the SEK Nature Center, but also a cave. You can find lots of bugs, spiders, and crickets in the cave, along with some special creatures native to the area. Cave long-tailed and grotto salamanders. The salamanders are lungless and are unique to the Ozark area. You can also find the tri-colored bat that calls the cave home. The cave is limited to authorized personnel only due to its many low places.
What's cool about them here is that in Kansas, it's political boundary, but they're very rare because we only have 55 square miles of Ozark Plateau in the state. So you can't get very far out of the Ozarks and see these at all.
The park is open every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Many people come and go from the Fort Scott Farmers Market, but there's been one staple for the past 25 years. Ron and Beverly Brown sell fresh produce there and connect with the community through it. Beverly says her longtime love of baking really pays off when her food brings joy to people.
I got started making lots more baked goods than I used to. I used to make pies and caramel rolls, and I haven't done that lately. But I like the idea that people like what we have because they'll brag on it. I went to Walmart the other day and Leonard came and said, "Oh, I just tried your apple nut bread and it was delicious." That's what keeps you going, when people like what you do.
The Fort Scott Farmers Market is open on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. China says it has arrested a suspect in the stabbing of 4 U.S. teachers in Beijing. Plus, Mexican counterparts are enacting strategies on their end to provide relief. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Chile's Humboldt penguins are facing possible extinction. The Humboldt penguin population has dramatically decreased in areas along the central coast of Chile, making them the most at risk of the 17 penguin species. Experts say the main threat to penguins in the wild are marine pollution, lack of pet supervision, and disturbance of nesting sites. The avian flu is also being blamed for causing the Humboldt penguin reproduction rates to plummet. They inhabit colonies in the Pacific Ocean along the coast of Chile and Peru, and earned their name by bathing in the cold Humboldt Ocean current, which flows north along the western coast of South America. Animal rights activists have faced the first official portrait of Britain's King Charles III at a London art gallery. The group Animal Rising released a video yesterday of 2 members pasting a picture of the character Wallace of the Wallace and Gromit comedy series over the king's head. They also added a caption reading, "No cheese, Gromit. Look at all of this cruelty on RSPCA farms." Activists are demanding the monarch suspend his support for the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, after Animal Rising found widespread violations of abuse at farms certified by the charity. Animals raised on certified farms are supposed to be guaranteed more space, enrichment, and humane handling and slaughter. Well, China says it has arrested a suspect in the stabbing of 4 U.S. teachers in Beijing. A spokesman for the foreign ministry calling the attacks an isolated incident at a press conference yesterday. Chinese police say a 55-year-old man was arrested in Monday's attack at a public park in Jilin, where 4 instructors from Iowa's Cornell College were stabbed. Police said the suspect had bumped into one of the instructors, then attacked all of them. They are being treated in a hospital, but none of the injuries are believed to be life-threatening. A Chinese tourist was also injured while trying to help stop the attack, police added. Well, in the wake of the Biden administration's plans to crack down on the number of asylum seekers trying to enter the U.S., Mexican counterparts are also enacting strategies on their end to provide relief. Kevin Cork reports.
Facing pressure from the U.S. to curb the influx of migrants trying to enter from Mexico, Mexican authorities are increasing tactics to try to stop the surge.
We've chosen to work together with Mexico as an equal partner.
But without proper funds to organize mass deportations back to the migrants' countries of origin, officials are hoping to tire them out so they give up. They're busing people trying to reach the northern border with the U.S. deep into southern communities near the Mexican border with Guatemala.
To have the little money one needs to cross and to be sent back is very exhausting.
That's forcing migrants to trek all the way back up north. They want to seek asylum or try to enter the U.S. illegally. Some have been shipped south multiple times.
It is difficult because the first time your relatives help you because they support you, they know the sacrifice you are making for everything you are going through. They help you, support you, but the second time they are already financially exhausted.
Mexico's president says the policy helps keep migrants safe because crossing north is risky. But the south isn't proving much safer. More than 4,000 people fled the town of Tila over the weekend after gangs there attacked and burned down homes.
Terrifying. There are no words to describe it.
A Fox News analysis of Customs and Border Protection data finds more than 7 million people have illegally entered the U.S. so far under the Biden administration.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:46 now on this Wednesday morning. Starting with the fog tracker. Again, we got some patchy fog out there, so even in between reporting stations, you want to watch out. But some reduced visibilities, Grove, Anderson, Bentonville. So if you are traveling this morning, especially down south, you want to be aware of that patchy fog. Now on the future track, I'm skipping ahead to tomorrow evening because for today, it is sunny, it is warm, and there's nothing to show out there. For most of our Thursdays, you can see, though, it is sunny, it is even warmer. So you can see a lot more low 90s, maybe even close to the mid 90s. But as we go late night Thursday into Friday morning, we could see a few stray showers and thunderstorms out there. We mentioned this yesterday. Initially, it looked as though most of this would stay to our north. However, some new updated future track data shows that we could get a few of these thunderstorms into our northern counties, say as far south as Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, close to Lamar, before they fizzle out. And then we'll spend our day on Friday partly to mostly cloudy, and we're getting into that time of year too where we could see some of those stray pop-up showers and storms as well as we go throughout the day on Friday before we start to lose the daytime heating. So today, nothing to worry about, but we do have a low risk for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms tomorrow night in our northern counties, and then again across a broader area on Friday. But remember, on Friday, this is going to be more isolated. We're talking pop-up showers and storms, but a couple of those could be strong to low-grade severe. On top of all of that, of course, with the sunshine, our UV index very high at a 10 today. Burn time is 10 minutes, so do make sure that you're taking precautions, limiting your time outdoors if you do have to be outside today. And stay hydrated as the temperature's warm. 61 in Joplin. The wind is calm and it is going to be light out of the south. So like yesterday, last couple of days, really no relief from the heat, at least in terms of wind. Temperatures near average and starting to already warm up. Low mid 60s, starting to get it just a hair over into the upper 60 range in southeast Kansas. Sunny skies through the morning. Take a look at that, 82 by 11 o'clock. And as we head into the afternoon, temperatures today mid-upper 80s for our highs, and the warming trend will continue over the next several days. Clear skies through the evening, only 78 by 10, still quite warm, and we'll fall back into the upper 60s. So we're getting to that point where we're going to start to be a bit above average in the evening hours. All right, tomorrow again, sunny through the day, evening thunderstorms for some, near 90, low to mid 90s still expected as we head into the weekend. Still quite hot out there. 90-degree temperatures hold on for a while, which means our overnight lows get into the low, maybe even mid 70s in some cases, with another shot of some evening showers next Tuesday. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
The show that changed reality television is back for its 20th season. David Daniel catches up with two fishing captains for today's Hollywood Minute.
This is more than just fishing to make money. It's a race against time.
The 20th season of Deadliest Catch sees the long-awaited reopening of Alaska's lucrative red king crab fishery and the first derby-style race in ages.
King crab is my bread and butter, and now it's back.
The king crab fisherman. It's what everyone wants to be.
First come, first serve.
They're right on our heels.
There's going to be conflict.
Get your up here.
It's Derby season. We're going by Derby rules.
We had to show real time that our fishing was productive and with productive numbers. And to do that, you had to go old school.
I need to catch crab, and I just lost everything.
You're telling me can't go on my boat right now. You can come here if need be.
Everybody's watching me climb up the ladder and make it to the top. Well, these next seasons, on season 20, you're actually going to see me falling and holding on with just a couple fingers.
If I don't produce, I'm out of the chair.
People see what we do and what it takes to get it.
There's no retakes. There's none of that stuff. There's no green screen. Every split second can mean the difference between life and death.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
A live symphony performance went viral, and not for the music as much as for the guest star, a random cat that decided to steal the spotlight by wandering on stage during the performance. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
You gotta be kidding me! That was likely the sentiment of audience members, and let's face it, probably the musicians too, when a random cat upstaged this live orchestra performance in Turkey. If you look closely, you can see smiles creeping across the faces of the performers as the sassy, sauntering symphony lover stole the spotlight during Beethoven's Pastoral. No word on where the cat came from, but as they say, the show must go on, and it did, later going viral with social media viewers eating up the impromptu performance, labeling the unlikely music lover an aristocat, and dubbing it the Meowstro. In Vermont, a father-son duo did a spotlight-stealing stage walk of their own when they graduated side by side from high school. Adam Moulton was just 17 years old when he dropped out of high school to help his father with the family business. Fast forward decades to the COVID pandemic when Adam's own son, Jonathan, was struggling with his studies in high school. Adam made a promise that if his son stuck with it, he himself would complete his own unfinished degree and graduate alongside him. Years later, and thanks to an online school completion program, Adam was able to keep his promise, participating in commencement, cap, gown, and all alongside his son.
I want to set an example, and no matter what happens or adversities happen, if you really put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
I was hoping he would do it, hoping he'd push through, stick with it, and he most definitely did, and it's awesome to be here today and be graduating with my dad.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Stick around, we'll be right back. What's in a name? Possibly a lot for wild African elephants. A new study suggests that wild African elephants may use calls similar to the personal names humans use to address each other. Researchers used a machine learning model to analyze recordings of hundreds of elephant calls. They found that the sound of the calls varied depending on which elephant the call was targeting. Recordings of those calls were played back to some of the elephants, and the animals responded more strongly to calls that were directed at them over those that were originally directed at another elephant. Researchers also discovered that female elephants may use names more often with their calves, either to comfort the calf or to help it learn its name. Well, it's the flower that most commonly represents love and romance. And while the red rose gets center stage on Valentine's Day, there's another day to recognize it. Today is National Red Rose Day. The flower has its place in so many settings, from a wedding ceremony to a personal sign of affection for someone, or to take a prominent place in your garden. Give their darker color, red roses are also notable for their fragrance, grown for perfumes and other uses. On this Wednesday, all hail the red rose.
Certainly an opportunity if you are wanting to share a little love with your significant other or somebody that's close to you. Today's an excellent day to do that. They won't see it coming if they're not watching the show right now, or maybe they stepped out of the room. They won't even know why you got them the rose, other than to say that I love you. And today, a great day to stay inside and share some love, because it is going to be sunny. It is going to be warm. Check this out. Low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning, as ahead of highs into the mid to upper 80s. And we'll have a light south breeze, so once again, no help or relief from the wind. Clear skies through the evening and into the overnight. 78 by 10. Overnight lows upper 60s. And we'll continue to warm up. We'll go low and even mid 90s by this weekend. Could see some thunderstorms tomorrow night into Friday morning. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.